All right, today we are diving headfirst into something that feels like it's straight out of science fiction. Technology that can take simple text or even a single picture and spin it into a full-blown video. This is a massive leap for artificial intelligence, and we're going to unpack exactly how it all works. I mean, seriously, just stop and think about that for a second. What if you could describe a scene, like a golden retriever sniffing flowers in a super sunny field, and just watch it pop into existence on your screen? Well, that's not sci-fi anymore. It's happening right now with AI video generation. So you're probably wondering, how does this digital magic trick actually work? Well, it really boils down to two key technologies that are total game changers: text to video and image to video. Let's pull back the curtain and see how the magic is made. And look, we're not just talking about some minor software update here. This is a huge milestone. AI is shifting from just being able to understand stuff to actually creating brand new dynamic worlds, pretty much from scratch. It's a fundamental change. All right, first up, how do words become a video? We're going to unpack the process of turning a simple text prompt into a living, breathing video clip. It's a pretty complex journey, but honestly, it's fascinating stuff. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the basic roadmap, the bird's eye view of the whole thing. It starts with your words at the top, and after a few key steps, you get a video at the bottom. So let's break down each of these stages. But before we get into the nitty-gritty steps, we've got to talk about the engine that makes this all possible: diffusion models. The best way to think about these things? Imagine a sculptor. The AI starts with just a block of random static, like digital noise. Then, using your text prompt as its guide, it starts chipping away at that noise, refining it over and over again until a detailed, coherent video appears. It's pretty amazing. All right, so step one is all about understanding what you actually want. The AI reads your prompt, that's the text encoding part, to get the real meaning behind your words. Then, in step two, it creates a kind of conceptual blueprint for the video. This blueprint exists in a weird, abstract place called latent space. It's basically the AI's rough sketch of the idea before it picks up its chisel. Now, this next part is absolutely crucial. It's called temporal consistency, and it's what stops the video from looking like a weird flickering slideshow. The AI has to make sure that things stay consistent from one frame to the next. So if there's a person walking, it needs to be the same person, looking the same, moving smoothly. It uses some really complex tools to understand how things should look and move through both space and time. Okay, and now we get to the big reveal. The blueprint becomes reality. The video decoder takes that abstract concept and turns it into the actual pixels you see on screen, frame by frame. And then some models add a cool optional final step called frame interpolation. That's where the AI cleverly slips in extra frames between the main ones to make the final video look even more buttery smooth. So who are the big names in this game? Well, you've probably heard of OpenAI Sora. That one's a big deal because it can make videos up to a minute long and has a pretty mind-blowing grasp of physics. Then you've got Google's Veo, which is all about getting that super cinematic, high-quality look. And don't forget Runway's Gen 4, which is really focused on a huge challenge: keeping characters consistent from shot to shot. You can see they're each trying to solve different pieces of this giant puzzle. Okay, so that's how we go from words to worlds. Now for Act 2. Bringing a single picture to life. This is all about taking a static photo and letting an AI figure out how to animate it, how to make the things in the scene move in a way that just makes sense. And yep, just like before, here's the roadmap for how it's done. It might look a little simpler, but the basic idea is the same. Analyze what you've got, predict how it should change, and then generate the final video. The first step, taking the image apart. So first, the AI puts on its detective hat. It scans the picture for key features, the edges of things, different textures, a person's face. Then, based on all the videos it's ever seen, it makes an educated guess about how those things might move. Maybe the clouds will drift, or the leaves on a tree will rustle in the wind. And once the AI has a good idea of what should be moving, it just gets to work. It starts generating all the new frames needed to create that motion. Then, it stitches them all together into a smooth video, and boom, just like that, a still photo becomes a moving, living moment. Okay, so the tech is obviously mind-blowing, but what does it all mean? What's the so what? How is this stuff actually being used out there in the real world? Let's talk about the impact, because it's already starting to shake up some major industries. Let's start with marketing and advertising. Think about it. A company can now whip up promotional videos in a fraction of the time and cost. Or even better, they can create thousands of personalized ads tailored for different people, or instantly translate a campaign into different languages. The scale is just massive. And then there's education. This is huge. Teachers and course creators can now generate animated tutorials for complex subjects in minutes. It means learning can be way more visual and tailored to how different people learn, which could make tough topics a lot easier for everyone to grasp. And of course, we have to talk about entertainment and media. For filmmakers, this is like a new superpower. It can help them quickly visualize storyboards, generate entire background scenes, or even create those trippy, mind-bending visuals you see in music videos. It's a brand new tool in a creative toolkit. But okay, like any crazy, powerful new tech, it's not all upsides. For all the amazing promises, there are some really big, really important challenges that we absolutely have to talk about. You really have to see this as a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's incredible. It's efficient, it makes video creation accessible to way more people, and it's super versatile. But the other edge is sharp. We're talking about the risk of misinformation and deepfakes, thorny questions about data bias and copyright, and yeah, even the tech itself still has quirks, like weird, unnatural-looking moments. And digging a little deeper, there are some pretty critical hurdles to get over. For one, running these models takes an insane amount of computing power, so not everyone can just fire one up. They're also hungry for huge, high-quality data sets. And like we talked about, getting that perfect, seamless coherence is still a tough nut to crack. Not to mention giving users the fine-tuned control they really want. So, with all of that in mind, what's next? Where is all this heading? The pace of change here is just breathtaking. So let's take a look at the road ahead. Right now, the focus is on a few key things. First, making these models way more efficient so they're not just for people with supercomputers. Second, giving creators much better control so you can tweak the little details. We're also going to see them start to integrate audio. And maybe most importantly, people are working hard on developing ethical rules in tech, like digital watermarks, to help us all know when we're looking at something made by an AI. And that really brings us to the final big question that's just gonna hang in the air. This technology is getting so good, so fast, that it won't be long before it can create photorealistic video of pretty much anything you can dream up. So that leaves us with a pretty heavy thought to chew on. When an AI can create any reality, how will any of us know what's actually real?
Thank you. Share and subscribe to Learn AI for more AI insights.